You're listening to the Nerd to Know Media Network. Join us at nerdtoknowmedia.com.
Hello and welcome to a very special video edition of Doing It for the Exposure. Unless you're listening on Spotify or SoundCloud, you can just ignore the video part. For anyone who doesn't know me, like if this is your first introduction to the show, you haven't heard of it before, I am Mannequin Blue, the creator and host of the show. We are currently on the 11th episode of Doing It for the Exposure. I just want to take a brief second to thank everyone who's been involved so far. It's been amazing to see so much interest. We're continuing to take guests on the show at this point, but there have been a lot of questions. So we decided that rather than just answer the same questions over and over and over again to everyone who asks, we would compile them all together, put them in video form or audio form if you're listening on Spotify and SoundCloud, and put them up online so that we can just direct people here, and hopefully this answers all the questions. So why don't we just jump into it then? How do I apply for the show? So you apply for the show by emailing nerdtoknowmedia@gmail.com. You can also message our social media at Doing It for the Exposure or at DIFTE podcast, but we're just going to direct you to the email anyway because that's the easiest way to do it. All you have to do is email us with the subject heading Exposure Podcast. Let us know a little bit about yourself. Just that you're interested in doing the show. We will send you an application form, which is just fill in your information, send it back, and then we'll arrange a date for recording. Can you go through the application form? Yeah, sure. If anyone is worried about what kind of stuff we ask you, it's okay. It's nothing personal. So the first thing we ask is the name of the artist, which can be your actual name, or if you work under a title, or a pseudonym or anything like that. We ask you your pronouns, which is, how you want to be addressed, because sometimes I will refer to you in the third person. Your art form, which is pretty straightforward. What do you do? Contact details, which we do not give out. This is only for our use in the show. We don't give it to anybody else. It's just if we need to contact you. Then we usually ask for a small blurb, which is just a couple words about yourself. You don't have to fill in this section, but we find that a lot of people will actually send us more information about themselves if they send us like promotional material, which is great because a lot of people don't realize how interesting they actually are until they send us promotional stuff that actually makes them sound really amazing. We ask you for your social media so that we can promote you because, what's the point in actually promoting you if we can't send anyone to find you later. Then talking points. This is stuff that you want to talk about. So if you feel like there's something you really want to get off your chest or promote or anything like that, let us know. Otherwise, I can just vamp and ask questions. We get that too, where people, they don't know what we're interested in or they don't know what's interesting themselves, and they usually send that part back to us blank and we just vamp and ask questions, which is also fine. But if there's something that you really want to be asked about, let us know. And then we just ask you for, if you want to send a picture of yourself for social media, or if you're a musician, if you want to send one of your songs, please make sure we don't get flagged by copyright because that has happened before and we have to just take it down and there's nothing we can do about that, and I'm sorry. That's pretty much it. That's the entire application form. It's constantly being updated, it's constantly changing, so if you have any suggestions, please maybe message us on social media because we'll see it faster. I do check the emails occasionally, but not as often as I would check the social media, so maybe do it there. What kind of artists do you promote? Literally everyone. Everyone and anyone. That's the whole point of the show, is to make sure that every single art form is covered, every single artist is covered if they want to be. If you're passionate about something and you want people to know about it, hit us up. If you're not sure whether you qualify as an artist or not, message us and we will tell you that you qualify. It's all good. Just do it. What qualifications do I need to have? You need to be an artist, you need to be passionate about what you do, and you need to want to be on the show. It's literally it. The only stipulation is that we ask that you have some kind of social media presence because we want to point people to you Whereas we can have you on the show and then can't send people to you, and it's not effective promotion then. Do I have to be Irish to be featured? No, you do not have to be Irish. We originally set up the show to promote Irish artists. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to be Irish. You can be, native Irish. You can be someone who is not born in Ireland but lives and works here. You can be an Irish person who is living abroad, or you can just be an artist living anywhere. If you want to be on the show, come be on the show. Our target audience is Ireland, just because that's where we're based. But if you have no problem being promoted to Irish people, that's totally fine. Hit us up. We would love to have you. What is the recording process? So we record on Zoom, and all you need to do is have Zoom and a pair of headphones. I will call you, and we chat for a little bit before we actually get in. I don't just call you and start recording straight away. That's not cool. So we chat for a little bit. I'll run you through the process of recording, anything that you want to talk about before we start recording. Then we, hit record. We do the little spiel at the start. Then we just go straight into conversation. I usually have a timer on for about a half hour, 35 minutes. It almost always goes over that. Don't panic though, because it's not live. Nothing is live. It's all recorded beforehand. I edit everything. It's not an issue. If you need to stop and start, it's fine. Usually the recording process doesn't take any more than an hour from start to finish, i.e. from when I call you until we stop recording and say goodbye. Can I promote other artists? Yes, absolutely. Drop as many names as you want. We love that, because usually we only have like one person on the show at a time, and if you want to drop names and promote your friends, please do. We're all about that. We want to promote everybody. Can I nominate someone else to be a guest? Unfortunately, no. We can only talk to people who actually want to talk to us. If you want your friend to be on the show, get them to get in touch with us. We would love to have them, but you can't nominate or apply for somebody else, because we can't just spring an interview on somebody. It doesn't work that way. Do I have to be a full-time artist to be featured? No, you do not. You can be a hobby artist. You can be someone who draws once a week, whatever it is. We still want to hear from you. If you're still passionate about it, you want people to know about it, you don't have to be full-time. It's okay to have another job. A lot of our artists actually do have other jobs, because art's hard and it doesn't always pay the bills, and you gotta pay the bills, and that's okay. Why only one episode a week? So at the moment, the show is almost entirely run by one person, and that is me. So I research all of the artists. I come up with the questionnaires. I contact people, because at the minute we're still small, so I'm actually contacting people. They're not contacting me. And I do all the setup, the recording, the editing. Then I send it off to the network to be uploaded. So it's pretty much just me running it right now, which means it's taking me it takes me a couple of hours to edit every episode, even though it's only about a half hour long. So at the moment, it's one episode a week. We like to give whatever artist is being featured that week the entire week, because, fair is fair. They waited just as long as everyone else did, maybe even longer. Some people wait up to 2 months to get on the show, maybe even more, so we like to give them that time. Why is each episode only around a half hour? Well, again, that's purely because it's a one-woman show at this point, and, the longer the episode is, the longer I have to spend editing it. We actually had a case where one episode ran 59 minutes pre-editing, and that took about 6 hours. So this is a not-for-profit show. I do this purely in my spare time because I want to promote artists. That's what I get out of it. I get job satisfaction from it. But ideally, I don't really want to be spending 6 hours editing an episode. Do you have any plans on filming the podcast to add a video element to it? Well, I'm going to sound like a total hypocrite right now, because, unless you're listening on Spotify and SoundCloud, this is a video episode. But currently, no, we have no plans to add a video element to it, because again, if I have to add video editing on top of audio editing, I'll probably just lose my mind. So unless we get like big budget, big production team behind it, it's not likely that there will be any kind of video element to the show. We do put some graphics on the YouTube channel, but it's a podcast anyway. I know that some shows do videos on their podcast, but that's kind of, I don't know, it seems like a big budget American thing to me. We're small and we're Irish and we like it that way. What's the deal with shoutouts? So, obviously not everyone can be on the show all at the same time, and some artists might have projects that they really want people to know about, but they might have to wait 2 months to tell people about it if they want to be on the show. So what we do is on social media, if you have something you want us to share, we will share it on social media, link it back to you so that everyone can find it. You can do this by messaging us if you want. Send us the link to the project, we'll post it along. We do this purely because we actually want to promote you. If you've been following our social media, you probably noticed I've already been posting them. Currently at the minute, I'm just finding them and posting them, which means it's usually the same few people getting posted all the time. So if you want to throw your name into the hat, please message us on Facebook or Instagram and we will share them along. We don't see everybody, so we don't always see what you're doing, which means you gotta reach out. Can a group be featured on the show? Yes, they can. We haven't had any yet, but we are more than willing to have bands or community projects or anything that requires more than one person. You all need to have Zoom, you all need to have headphones, and it's probably wise to nominate one person to do the majority of the talking, just so that you're not talking over each other. But we would absolutely love to have groups on the show. The more the merrier. Are there any plans to interview you? Well, that's flattering. At the minute, no, there are no plans to interview me as an artist. For those of you who don't know, I am also an artist. I do ridiculous amounts of things. But to be fair, I'm on the show every week, whereas the artists that come on the show, they get 1 half-hour time slot, and I would rather talk about them than I would about myself. So unless there's actually demand for it and somebody wants to do the interviewing, there are no plans to interview me at this point. If you want to keep up to date with me, you can follow me on social media, mostly on Instagram. I'm more active on Instagram than anything else, and you can find me at Mannequin_Blue. You can also find me on Facebook at Mannequin Blue Art, and that's probably the best place to keep up to date with me. That pretty much covers all the questions we've been asked so far. One thing that I will add is, if you feel like you would love to be on the show, but you don't think you're good enough, cut it out. We want you on the show. Please reach out to us. If you don't think you'd be interesting enough to talk to, you are definitely interesting. We want to talk to you. And if you're not sure what you would say, we have the application form, so you can actually go through it beforehand, tell us what you want to talk about. If you don't know what you want to talk about, I would recommend that you ask your friends and family what they would want to be answered about what you do. So please hit us up. We really want to have you. We want to keep the show going for as long as possible and promote as many artists as we can, you know, into infinity. So hopefully that answered any questions that you have. If you have any more questions, let me know and we will maybe make another video. Big thank you to anyone who took the time to watch this video. Huge thanks to Nerd to Know Media for constantly being the hosts with the mosts, because they put up with us every week and we love them. Please don't cut us from the lineup. It's great. We enjoy it so much. But thank you for watching this terrible quality video, and we will see you next week for another episode. Bye! Don't forget, if you like the show and you want to keep up to date, to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at DIFTE Podcast. And you can also check us out on nerdtoknowmedia.com, and we stream weekly on Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. So come find us.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.